And you are now tuned into another episode of My Skin is My Sin presents Intellectually Petty Radio. And today we have the GOAT of GOATs. We got the real Rick Ross in the building, man. It is an honor and a privilege, King. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's an honor to have you, bro. And before we get started, man, shout out and thank you to Student Minister Troy Muhammad, man. That's my brother, man. Invited me to the Rakim event. Got a chance to chop it up just for a second with you, bro, and get you on the show. So that was very dope of him.
No doubt, no doubt. Shout out to the brother. Always working hard,
Oh
trying to
my
say the hood.
God,
Always
man.
say the hood.
Absolutely, man. And before we get started, make sure you go cop the book, man. Can you see that? It's the Untold Autobiography Freeway Rick Ross. It's an absolute must have, and it's a great read, I might add. And I was surprised at the honesty in the book too, man. And not about the, we all know the kingpin shit, but just how you was feeling coming up and how you were feeling about yourself, man. I was really surprised by that. Was it
I
tough
felt,
doing that?
I felt it was important.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, people don't like to point out their flaws and their shortcomings, and it leaves the kids believing that these people are supermen and they never did anything wrong and they never made a mistake. And I think that it's important that our kids know that they're gonna make mistakes. Uh, 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 and it's okay to make mistakes. Thomas Edison said he made over 1,000 mistakes when he was trying to make the light bulb. So, it's okay for us to make mistakes, but just keep going. And by the way, if you go get that book, don't go to Amazon. Go to my website,
Hey,
freewayrickyross.com.
make I'm not mad at that, bro. Definitely do that. Cut them out, man. They got enough money.
Man, Jeff Bezos, he gonna take your money, and go out of space with it.
Oh my God. Must be nice to be able to do that though. But
Feed the,
gee.
I'm gonna feed the hood.
You've done that already, man.
I'm
Like
trying.
like
I'm finna really do it though.
any regrets? Like if you could go back again and start over, would you do it the same way?
I did an article one time with the Chicago Tribune. I know you. And I know you will try to tell and the young lady who wrote the story, she was saying that after talking to me that there was no regrets, only
Hmm.
lessons.
Okay.
And I think that she kind of summed it up the way I wish I could have.
Hmm.
I don't have any regrets, only lessons. I learned a lot from what I did. Uh, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't be the person who I am today without the things that I went through in life. So
I feel you on that. And for those who don't know, I don't know if you've been asleep under a rock or been in a coma for the last 20 years, but the brother went from literally from $50 of cocaine to buying hundreds of birds. Like at your height, how much were you copping?
uh, I spent as much as I think like 3.2 million on drugs before one day.
And what geez, god damn, bruh. And you saying that like it's nothing.
Well, you become immune to it, and that becomes your fix. Like when you first start off, your fix might be a gram, a half a gram. I started off with an eight. Well, no, I started off with a $50 rock, but the first thing I ever bought myself was an eight. And
Mhm.
when you first get that first one, you're nervous, you're scared, but after you do it a couple times, you be like, oh, that wasn't nothing.
I mean,
I
when you spending 3.2, you're not like going to the guy with 3.2 million, are you? I don't know how
yeah,
that works.
in a duffel bag.
Jesus
You
Christ, bro.
got to carry it. Yeah,
Wow. Man, and so you in a Crip neighborhood, that's how you grew up.
yep, yep.
Do you, like with Big U and all of them, or is it other sets?
Well, Big U was around. He was young though.
Okay.
You was a young boy. The dudes from U's neighborhood at that time was like Petey Wack,
Hmm.
uh, Big Phil, Big Cat. Those were the guys that was really kicking up. Hugh was their young homie.
Wow. That's incredible, bro. And I got questions and shit I wrote down and everything, man. You actually Richard Williams coached you for a little while in tennis, correct?
Not Venus and Serena's dad.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I thought it
It
was
was
that
a,
guy.
it was a different Richard Williams. Yeah. The Richard Williams that taught me also had a
Mhm.
hand in teaching Venus and Serena's dad.
Wow. So it's pretty much anybody that came up that's anybody during your time, you had some type of plug with.
Yeah. I knew all the tennis players at that time. From Otis Smith. Otis Smith is the guy who found Anita Baker. I knew Dick Griffey, who used to on Solar Records. Dick Griffey found Babyface. So I was right there. They played tennis. Jim Kelly. Um, we knew all the ones who played tennis. Arthur Ashe came down to our high school and gave us awards one time. So if you was a black tennis player,
Mhm.
we knew you.
Mhm. It
It's a
what was the
small.
most valuable lesson you learned in tennis?
Wow, that's hard to say. Just recently, about 2 or 3 years ago, I found out that anytime you play a tennis match, you make over 1,000 decisions doing one tennis match. So, uh, tennis is a great sport for becoming a critical thinker.
Mhm.
I think that I got my being able to make decisions on the fly from playing tennis.
That's incredible, and a lot of people don't know that you were illiterate for a long time in your life, and you taught yourself
I
how
was,
to read. Is that
I
correct?
was. Yeah. What I found out though is I never had a reason to read. It wasn't that I was dumb. I thought I was dumb and stupid, where I couldn't learn how to read. But
Mhm.
what I found out is that nobody had ever gave me a reason to want to read, and I saw no reason in reading. I couldn't see where it could be used at in my everyday life, so it wasn't important to me.
That's phenomenal, and you taught yourself in prison.
Yeah, well, the guys told me that the way out of jail was through the law library, and the only way you could use the law library is if you knew how to read. So I had to
And
read. I
shout
had to.
out to whoever told you that because it worked.
Yeah, I owe those guys. I owe those guys my life, uh, and really all my successes that I have from here on out. They could definitely take a hand in my successes.
Because it was looking like when you got locked up, they threw the book at you and tried to hit you with life. Correct?
Yeah, my lawyer told me I was never gonna get out. When we finished trial, I think I had about $60,000 left, and he told me to take it and put on my books and don't give it to him for the appeal
Wow.
because I was gonna be doing a long time and I was gonna need the money.
So you went from a $3.2 million deal to 60 stacks left.
Yeah, when I was in jail. Money. My mom always say, "Money and fool will soon depart." So I was a fool with money.
Oh my
I was
God.
smart in some ways, but I was a fool in other ways. If I would have knew, if I would have knew what I know now, my life would have been a lot easier.
I mean, but you're doing good now too, though, bro.
Well, now I'm doing phenomenal. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the king of marijuana for the whole country. They're gonna probably vote me to be the man with the face of marijuana. Um, I'm gonna take over boxing and um, I don't know what other industry, a few other industries that I'm tinkering in. My movie, we start shooting my movie in January. My books are doing really well, both of them.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
the one that you held up, I can't quote no numbers because IRS might pull that up. And
Yeah, I don't want to have nothing to do with that.
you know,
I don't want to be that nigga.
hey, published right, so don't nobody really get the real numbers. Don't nobody know
I'm
the real.
not mad at that, man. You deserve every penny, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like I was talking to one of my boys about you, and we were having a debate about me having you on the show. And the debate was the damage that you've done to our community versus the good you've done for our community.
Well, yeah, when people say that, when they
Mm-hmm.
point fingers, you start pointing fingers, you got four fingers pointing back at you. So when people talk about the damage that's been done in the community and who done it and all that, uh, that's that old stuff. You know, it's time out for us pointing fingers at somebody and not looking at yourself saying, you know what, what's wrong with me? Why haven't I uh, uh, made the moves that I'm supposed to make my community better? Because if you're not making it better, then you're part of the problem.
I feel that, but there was never a time like I remember when crack came out, and like for the first couple of years, the shit was a party. Nobody thought nobody thought about any negative aspects. You didn't see people's mamas selling their ass, for about 3 or 4 years,
Correct.
at least in Detroit. Was there ever a point where you got to it and was like, damn, I didn't realize it was going to be like this?
Right.
No,
I
I'm at, okay. All
No,
right.
totally, totally. You hit it right on the. Nobody knew. When I got into it, I thought I was getting into what Rick James and Richard Pryor was into. My heroes. Like shit. Richard
Yeah.
Pryor do this shit. I want to be doing it. Yeah. Rick
And then
James,
he made it funny and shit.
huh?
And then he made it funny.
Yeah. I mean, when you look back in the '70s, when our entertainers, the Quincy Joneses and you know, and they say so many of our entertainers was powdering their nose and
Mm-hmm.
in the pipe that it made it attractive. It made it to where it was something that a 19-year-old kid who was in a sense lost. Didn't know which direction he was going to go in. He picked cocaine, and not just me, but thousands of young black men picked that route to go. And a lot of them did follow my footsteps. I made it look easy and I made it look glamorous. To be a self-made millionaire. But at the end of the day, um, it goes even deeper than that. How did we even become accustomed to cocaine? I was sitting in prison, and I was thinking to myself, if you start pointing fingers, you really this thing would just go on and on and on because you got to say, well, the guy who showed me cocaine for the first time, he would be responsible,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for my actions
Yeah.
because he introduced me. And then you got to say, well, who introduced him? And then that guy would be partially responsible. And then the guy who introduced him would be partially. So, I mean, when you point the finger, it just goes on and on. I'm more into coming up with solutions and solving problems. And that's what I'm after right now. I don't mind if people say, that I'm a dirty, no good drug dealer, whatever they want to say. I wouldn't even get mad at them if they said it. They, I mean, I had it said to them in my speaking engagements,
Mm-hmm.
and and a lot of them put their anger at the wrong person because they said one girl she was saying that her mom had died from smoking cocaine, and I said, well, did they put a gun to your mom's head? And she said
Ooh.
no, and I said so she smoked it freely. And she said yes. And I said, does she have any responsibility for her actions?
Mm.
That she was a grown woman and she wanted to get high on cocaine or whatever, they're doing. They don't bear any responsibility. And I think that when you take the responsibility totally away from the users, then you kind of defeat the purpose of trying to solve the problem because um, until the person wants to stop using, nobody can get them to stop until they make up their mind that they no longer want to use.
And that's a hard pill to swallow for somebody that's lost somebody because they feel like they need to blame somebody.
Yeah, well, we always do. We never want to be. When it goes well, everybody wants the glory, and when it goes bad, nobody wants to be the one to say, you know what, I got to take this one on the chin. But me, I don't mind doing that. I don't mind taking my lumps. That's why when I went to prison, and they told me I was getting a life sentence, I couldn't cry, I couldn't mope and pout because, uh, um, I knew what I was doing.
What was your experience in prison like?
Well, from the beginning, it was rough. I never been locked up before. I never been under that type of control and supervision. But once I got adjusted and I came to my senses, and I figured that I could master being in prison, um, it became fun. It literally became where most days I would be like, wow, I don't have enough time.
That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say prison was fun, bro.
Yeah. Well, times people don't really. understand. Uh, uh, um, when I was sitting there, I was trying to figure out why did they build prisons, and what I came up with is that prison was a place that, when it first was created, it was a place where a person would go if they wasn't functioning properly, almost like a mechanic shop, and you would go
Hmm.
there and you would get yourself together.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
So that's what I did when I went to prison. I went there and I got myself together. Uh, I did things that I had never done before that I never thought I could do. I never thought that I would ever read a book. I read over 300 books before I left prison. I read the Wall Street Journal every day, the USA Today. I read
Yeah, I think he got a phone call, fellas, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, somebody trying to call me. They always trying to call me. Probably want to borrow some money.
You the man.
Yeah,
so, I'm
so
sorry. Go ahead.
I educated myself in there. I was sitting in prison and one day and I was like, you know what, man, I want to compete against all the dudes on the street. The Jeff Bezos, the Bill Gates, the Russell Simmons, the Puff Daddies, and all of them. I was like, wow, you know what? I would like to score more points than them in a game.
Hmm.
And I was thinking, but you're in prison, you got a gate around you. So how you gonna score some points? And it came to me is that I could outread all of them. I could read more than they could read. So if I read enough, I would become so knowledgeable about the world uh, that nobody would be able to compete in that
Did you,
field.
did you ever foresee weed being legal?
I didn't. I was doing my time in Texas. So when the end of my bid, I was doing in Texas when it went legal. So we weren't getting the newspapers in Texas. So I was a little lost about what was going on in LA and Denver and other places. I totally stopped watching TV too. I didn't watch the news. I didn't listen to the radio. It was just study, study, workout, study, workout, study. So I was kind of like tunnel vision. So I had no clue that weed was legal. It was like a total shock to me when I hit the streets and I saw these weed shops on the corners.
You and me both, bro. I did not think that in my existence, like I'm from Detroit, so I didn't think I would be able to go to a store and buy a bag of weed if I chose to do so. Still blows my mind when I go back home.
Yeah, it is mind blowing.
But it's long overdue.
I agree. I agree. I think the way that we've been handling this war on drugs has been totally a waste of taxpayers' dollars and resources. And I mean, this has probably been one of the biggest wastes that this country's ever done. So I think it's totally overdue. I think that the whole way that we deal with drugs and drug users and drug sellers is outdated and it needs to be revamped.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. So do you have your own strand out now?
I have about five different strains, maybe 7 or 8. I got 5 brands right
Hmm.
now, uh, and each one has its own brand, its own strain, and then one or two of them got 2 strains. So uh, yeah, but I'm gonna be the king of marijuana, so I'm gonna have all the strains.
Hey, I got some connoisseurs for you too, man, in Detroit. That, whoo, let me know.
Yeah,
How do we get those strains?
well, you got to be in LA. We can't ship across state line yet.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
We still got the federal regulations, with the banking, which
Hmm.
they clear that up soon because with the way the banking thing is right now, it really makes marijuana dispensaries really vulnerable and it makes it still a dangerous situation. People think that the drugs make the drug business dangerous, but it's the money that's involved in the drug business that really makes it dangerous. Any business where there's money, people would do strange things to get it.
You ain't never lied about that, bro. Oh my god, man. The people, is it worse now, violence wise? Do you think?
No, no, I think the violence has definitely ceased in the weed business.
Hmm.
Uh, because they can go to any corner and get it. And most of the dispensaries got security guards and I mean they used to rob them in the beginning, but it's not so bad right now. You know, um, So I think it's gotten better.
And if anybody wants to book you for a speaking engagement or get in contact with you, I want to make sure they have a way to do that. How they contact you?
They can get me on Instagram at Freeway Ricky and on Facebook at Freeway Ricky Ross and on Twitter at Freeway Rick One, I think it is. So they can get me there. CC is my manager. Her number should be on my page. I don't know for sure. Um, but I ain't really taking no bookings right now. I'm
Mhm.
waiting after this pandemic to see what this pandemic is gonna do before I take any more bookings. Right now, I want to just calm down a little bit. Even though I feel safe, I'm on my vitamin D's and my zinc, and I'm a witness that those two things can cure the coronavirus.
Man, yeah. What do you think about the vaccine? I know it's totally unrelated.
I'm not taking the vaccine. I don't think it's been out long enough
Mhm.
to assure my safety and the safety of my loved ones. So um, I'm not taking it. I'm not anti-vaccine or anything like that. There, it's just that I don't know for myself, and I don't feel threatened by the coronavirus.
I feel you.
That I've helped about 15 people get out the hospital with the virus. So
Wow.
I got a guy right now here in D.C. that I'm working with. Um, he was telling me today how much better he felt, since he started taking his vitamin D3s.
That's what's up, man. I know I had Rizza Islam on the show, I don't know, about a month or two ago, and he's completely against it. I got a brother coming on, a doctor coming on next week that's pro vaccine, so that should be interesting. Me personally, I haven't taken it, and I don't know, man. Like most days, I'm like no, and then there's some days I'm like, I don't. So I'm on the fence.
Yeah, we all are, but you wear your mask. I
Yeah.
believe you mask, take your vitamin D, get your immune system up. And I got a doctor friend that really put me up on the vitamin D3, Leslie Ray Matthews, and he said that the vitamin D3 does the same thing that the vaccine does, but without all of the potential side effects.
Okay. What's the dopest thing Rick Ross has done thus far? Just personally.
I think signing Kid Austin, a new boxer, who's probably going to be possibly one of the greatest fighters ever, to put on a pair of gloves, maybe the best. His dad think he's going to be the best fighter ever. Uh, Getting him signed, over all the top promoters in the industry was accomplishment. Uh, and now to take his career and uh, uh, and he may pass Floyd Mayweather. I mean, the weed stuff has been a great accomplishment as well, though. To start in the weed business with only $500 and to now own my own dispensary as well as my own grow and to be partners with five of the biggest people inside the business. I think that's pretty amazing as well. Um, what I did in the cocaine business was amazing too. In a sense, it was cocaine. It's not something that I'm proud of, anything like that there because it was cocaine. But at the end of the day, to go into anything and take $50. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
To go into anything and take $150 and turn it into $3 million a day sometimes is pretty monumental.
You ain't lying about that, bro. And
So,
like I can kind of hear myself on your phone now.
oh yeah.
I, yep, I think it just maybe that was just a temporary thing. But in the pantheon of the hood, you got to be the goat, bro. I don't think there's anybody out there that put in as much work in that area than you have as far as the hood is concerned. I don't even know if there's anybody close.
Well, right now, I don't want nobody to put in more work than me. I go around the juvenile halls, high schools before the pandemic, talking to our kids
Mhm.
because they got to know what it took me 40 some years to learn. That we are great, we are all special, but it's up to each and every one of us to find out what our special niches are and to exploit those niches. And a lot of times, our kids um, fall into a slump because they don't have the things that other kids have to make them feel special,
Yeah,
and you start to look down on yourself, and you develop a a complex about yourself that you're not as good as everybody else because you don't have the things that everybody else have.
absolutely true, man. And then that you start perpetuating the cycle.
Yes.
You
So
know, so salute to you for doing that too. By the way, there's a lot
I
of niggas, man, just live on their reputations and they cool with that.
yeah, it's almost like for me, it's almost like wow, when I help somebody, it gives me this feeling that I just did something for myself. Like I just cheated again. You help somebody else, so you cheated again. That's almost
And
how I feel when I help people.
you got that presence about you too, and that's one thing. When I went home, I was telling my wife, I was, I met Rick Ross, and I was like, he seems at ease.
I
Like
am.
like and it just like you just get that whole aura about you. I didn't get that, oh well, I did $80 million worth of this or 100 keys. It was just, man, I'm really comfortable in the skin that I'm in. And you don't see that too often.
Thank you, because that's the way I want to live. I think that we all should be living like that. We all should be able to uh, make mistakes and move on with our lives. We don't have to sit there and let others dictate or try to dictate to us how we should feel about ourselves, uh, about whatever. You know, you
I
know.
agree with that.
Uh, um, it was a story in the Bible where they were getting ready to stone this lady, and Jesus Christ told them, "Say, he who was never seen, throw the first rock," and everybody had to start stepping back.
Yeah, if we only live that way, most of us.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And the people who be coming trying to point the finger, I be want to know. Okay, I tell my story, you tell yours.
I ain't got shit to say on that one, man.
Yeah, that's what I tell them. I ain't got no problem. I tell mine. I come out with my skeletons out my closet. What you gonna do?
And that's the
So
thing about it. Like, is you highlight the warts as well as the wealth,
we have
and
to
but most people don't. They hide their
before
hand.
before our kids. This is what I'm doing now is not for me.
Okay,
I know I got about 20 years max to live. If I get 20 more years out of this life, I'll be happy. Right now my life is dedicated to the kids, and I got a couple babies too, and I got grandkids, and I feel that it's so important that they learn that they're gonna make mistakes. But make
facts.
mistakes, get up, dust yourself off, and keep going.
Yo, having grandkids is some wild shit, though, bruh. It is, man. I did not anticipate this part of life. Like, I didn't think about grandkids of my own, and man, it's such a fucking blast, bruh.
Man,
And then I get to give them back.
but I
Man, I
got
got
ones I can't get him back.
oh my, I got five and one on the way.
I'm stuck with them. Well, this is for me. It's fun. I never raised kids before.
Mhm.
When I went to jail, my kids were like 5 years old and under, so I never had a chance to raise them. So right now, I'm having a chance to mold some little people, and it's fun. I'm having a ball with it. Life is just good right now. I'm just basking in the moment. I'm here in D.C. right now. They finna throw a little barbecue, and we just gonna kick back and enjoy life, man.
You deserve that shit, bruh. You
Thank you,
do. And if
thank,
don't nobody tell you, man, I'm proud of you.
thank you.
Oh, no doubt, man. I like to make sure that I tell our brothers and sisters because we don't hear that enough.
I appreciate it. And you're right. People don't tell you that they appreciate you. But that just gives me the motivation to keep going and work even harder. Because that's my plan to really change this economical situation that we are in as blacks. And I believe that the only reason that we're in this economical funk is because nobody has ever showed us how to get out of it.
Facts. Oh, and another side note, there's a boxer in Detroit. Uh last name is O'Quinn. Keep your eye out for that guy.
O'Quinn.
Yeah.
I don't know if I heard of him.
And he's got I think he's got 14 bouts, no losses, a draw. Pretty him and his brother. Actually, his brother is legit too. His brother just stopped boxing though, and he's still doing it. He got a fight coming up, I think next month in
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
who he signed with?
Some Russian cat that it ain't going all that great with that cat. Like I'm not a fan of the cat, but the kids got oh my god a shitload of talent, bro. So, so if you ever get when you go back, you look him up, man. Let me know what you think. Shit,
All
And if
right.
I
Well,
ever come out to LA, I'm
if
definitely
you see
gonna
him,
tap in on some strands. Say that
if
again.
you if you see him, tell him to call me. Definitely, I got you. When you come out there, hit me up.
Oh, I absolutely will, man. Is there, and I know I ain't got too much time with you. You got a lot of shit to do, bro. Is there anything you want to say to the people before you dip? Oh, your volume went out again. Yeah, I can't hear you, King. But while you're doing that, shout out to your manager too. She was very on point, very responsive, unlike any other manager I've dealt with to keep it a stack for the most part. But I can't hear you at all, bro. I'm not sure what happened, but your volume went out, and hopefully, I don't think you can hear me. Uh, I don't know if you can still see me, and I don't think you know that we can't hear you. It definitely has been an honor and a privilege, though, man, to have the goat, and that's a dope ass hoodie you got on too, man. I'm wishing the volume come back on before I don't want to just hang up on you and seem rude, but I know you only had a few minutes. Hey, definitely appreciate y'all, man, for tuning in. You don't often get the opportunity to talk to one of the greats at anything. And it's the real Rick Ross, bro. You already know it was a couple of things I did leave on the table, but sometimes we just have, get to having a regular conversation. And wow, that's one for the books for me personally. Shout out to y'all that's tapped in. I did not check Facebook, so if you was talking to me on Facebook, I'm sorry. Um, Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Son Ray, what's going down in Australia, man? Shout out to my cousin Dominique. David Weeks, shout out to you. Shout out to Tay Ahuru. That's my guy right there. If you want to go to Africa and you need a tour guide, make sure you hit up Camp Cleveland, aka Tay Ahuru. That's family. Um, Definitely want to make sure that you tap in with him. The brother's been to, I don't know, what is it, 30 countries at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a shitload of countries and knows a shitload about Africa and has given multiple tours. So shout out to him. Uh that's about it, man. We will see you next week. I got Dr. Robert Drummond coming on. Uh who is a pro vaccine physician, a brother that graduated from Morehouse, if I remember correctly. You already know. Come on, bro. Camp, you family, bro. And since I got a couple people tapped in right quick, that versus is trash. I just had to put that out there. I am not look. I'm not. They got Ja Rule versus Fat Joe, and I love Fat Joe as an interviewer, but musically, like up until like he was not good up until Big Pun came along. After Big Pun, he had a couple hits. I just don't think he got enough of a catalog to fuck with Ja Rule. And people really, really slack on Ja Rule because of 50 Cent. But before Hurricane 50 swept in, Ja Rule and Murder Inc. was killing shit. You had to be there. Anyway, man, it's been real. I appreciate your time, your energy, and y'all have a good one, man. I'm gonna be out of here. I got shit to do. Look forward to seeing y'all next week. Peace, fam. I'm out. Oh, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Intellectually Petty Radio, and My Skin is My Sin, the number one. That's My Skin is My Sin, the number one. Is one account, and Intellectually Petty Radio on IG. Fuck with me on Facebook. My Skin is My Sin. as well as Intellectually Petty Radio. On that note, man, y'all have a good one. Stay up, and we out. Peace.